Right, so welcome to a new guide on this channel, and this occasion is the drum bus. Now this is not a review, it's a deep dive guide about this device. Everything on this guide is in chapters, so if you look at the description or the timeline, you can jump to a section or skip the ones you don't want. Now if you like this guide, please like and subscribe, and if you have the money and you want to buy me a coffee, you can. Check the links at the description. So this device is not a channel strip, it's a saturation unit. Now the Ableton guys designed this to use it on a drum bus. That's why it's called drum bus, but you can use it on wherever you want. Now you have three main sections. You have the distortion section, you have the compressor and exciter section, and then you have a sub generator. Right, so as soon as I play a track and I turn it off, you're gonna notice that it goes really quiet. If I turn it on, it's gonna just much louder. And this is because this is a saturation unit. If your track is too loud, you're going to be driving the input a little bit, maybe too much. So right here you have your trim control. By this one you can go down and you can drive the plugging the device a little bit less. Still, if I go down in drive, we're going to drive it less. But as we do more, sometimes it's just better to keep these controls a check. And right here you have your metering. We're going to talk about what this bass is, but you can see how much out you're doing. So you have three types of saturation. You have the soft, the medium, and the hard, and this is the main drive control. So if I keep going up, we're gonna saturate more. Now the first saturation, soft one, is a mild wave shaping. So it's just, pretty soft. Now the other one is a little bit more aggressive, is a limiting distortion, so it's gonna clip a little bit more. And we can hear that. Now the next one is going to be the hard, and it's it's just hard clipping, but it also has a bass boost. So if I go up, we can hear the bass. Right. So as you can see, all the three different types they're just really different. Now it depends on what you want to do. You might want to use the soft, medium, or the hard. So the whole unit, especially these controls, are very dependent on the sound you feed to it. So the track I'm playing right now is very dynamic, so it's not super processed. If I play it, we can hear that. Now if I take you to a different one where there's a little bit more processing going on, it's going to be, if I turn it off, you're going to just hear it. Just more processed, more compressed, more everything. So if I turn it on, it's going to be doing it hard. So you need to adjust your controls and find the right blend. So it depends on what you want to do. You might want to use the medium, hard, or the soft. Now always when you are using a saturation unit, you need to find the right blend between the dry and the wet. And here you have the dry and the wet. You might be going crazy right here, but then you just need to go down and find maybe the sweet spot. Alright, so let's go back to the first one, because it's just a little bit, unprocessed. So we're going to process with this. So, okay, so right here at the bottom, you have something that says comp. This is a compressor. So the compressor goes before the saturation and distortion. And the compressor has a fast attack and a medium release. So the idea of having a compressor before the driving is to flatten the sound. If it's too dynamic, you're going to be compressing it. So you're kind of gluing the sound, the drums, before distorting. And, if you do that, you're going to distort it a little bit better. It's going to distort even. It's going to be a bit more even. That's pretty much the idea. If I turn it on, notice that it goes louder. So you could use this, just the compressor, and go down to the drive, and you're gonna, it's gonna sound cool. But still, you can just go add a little bit of drive and then find the right amount of dry and wet. And you always need to do this with saturation units. You just drive it, check how it sounds, and you find the right amount. You find the sweet spot. Right. So far, pretty simple device. You get a compressor, you can attenuate before hitting the saturation section, and then you just saturate, and and there you go. So this is the first part of the drum bus. You have a drive, you have a trim, and you have a compressor. Now I'm gonna bring a fresh instance so we can start from the scratch, and I'm gonna go all the way down in the drive. So we need to talk about the second section. So you have a crunch, a damp, and a transients. So the crunch, the second block, actually this whole block is dedicated to enhancing and shaping the mid to high frequencies. So crunch will add distortion to the mid-high frequencies. So if I play something, and bring this up, you're gonna instantly know it. Now, this is the damping. We're gonna talk about this later. For now, I'm just gonna go and all the way up and disable this. As I go up, I want you to listen to the brightness, the mid to high frequencies. Right. So again, we are just saturating the mid to highs. Now, since this might bring a lot of harshness, as we can hear, right here you have your damp control. This is just gonna low pass. This is a low pass filter, so you just can cut a little bit of the highs and make it less harsh. You can go all the way crazy and chop everything, but this is meant to be, just to use a little bit. Just like this one, maybe 99 is just too much. Maybe you just can do a little bit. Just by doing that, it's gonna sound cool. Alright. So down here below, on the same section, the same block, you have the transients. Now this one works as a transient designer, but not quite. It works more like a gate expander or upwards compressor. If I must describe it as something. Now, the thing is that we don't get a lot of control of what's going on right here. You can go to negatives or you can go to positives. So let's just play the track. And I'm not doing anything. Not doing drive, not crunch, and I'm not cutting. So going to the left, which is negatives, it's gonna work as a gate. Notice that everything is super tight right now. And this is what it does. It's gonna make your drums tighter. So if you listen to the length of the kick and snare, now notice that everything is super short now. If I go back, yeah, that's what it's doing. It's just making everything super tight. Now going the opposite way, it will just make it, it's gonna open everything and it's gonna make it longer. So this will bring the low information, the room and everything else. Listen to the claps and the room. Right? So the claps are just not that present. I mean the room. As I go up, brings everything that it's down. It's gonna bring it up. So I'm gonna stop it right now. Now, if you think about this, you can use this on whatever you want, right? To excite and add a little bit of drive, not just on a drum bus. Now, I have a loop right here. It's going to be a tiny little synth loop, and I'm going to bring a fresh instance of the drum bus. And as soon as I play it, we're going to play with this around. Now, if I turn it off, I can see that it's a little bit less dense. Right? So I can still, maybe just go something like this. We can try the compress. It's doing its job. We can drive it and see what happens. And I'm going to be adding some crunch. Remember that this is a gate, so we can make it, we can just gate it. But the thing is that with this sound, since it's not super percussive, it's just not going to work. But going the other way, it's just going to excite it. Just bring everything up. Now, remember to use the dry and the wet. This is like the main control. So if I turn it off and just try to match the levels, I turn it off, turn it on, just a little bit more, right? More dense. All right. So again, you can use it on whatever you want. It's not just for drums. Right, so back to the first loop. And I'm using this one because it's super dynamic and it's something that we can just crush and get something out of this. The other loop is just a little bit too much, so already compressed and processed. So the third section is dedicated for drums, and basses. Because what it will do, it will add sub-bass information. So if I remove the drive I'm not cutting anything, and I'm not doing anything on the first two, lines or channels or whatever you want to call it. The third one is going to add, that sub information. If I go up, it's going to add that boom. That's why it's called boom. Now, as you go up, notice that the bass right here is just telling you how much you're doing. And if I go down, it's less boom, more boom. And we can go crazy with this and just overdo the subs. Still, again, remember to use the dry and the wet. So this is essentially what it does. I'm gonna go full. So this, what it does is it generates a subtone. So to audition the subs, you need to go right here to this icon. If I play it, it's gonna let you hear what is going on. Notice that we can hear the snares a little bit, and it's right here. So this is just taking your information about your drum, and it's just kind of hyping the lower part is just giving you this subtone. So what you need to do, you need to fine tune it, because you need to find the right frequency and just adjust it to whatever it is that you want to do to your track, right? Nonetheless, sometimes the boom is just too much. So the decay is just gonna make it shorter. If I go all the way down, a lot less. Hard, really long. So all of this, again, with the drive and the crunch, is something that maybe sometimes you just need to do a little bit. If you do too much, you're gonna overdo it. Right. Still a little bit of crunch, a little bit of compression, a little bit of drive, and I'm gonna go down the out. Let's just excite it a little bit. I'm gonna bring down the dry and the wet. Right. So now it sounds a lot more processed. Now I would love to do a little bit of EQ, but if I turn it off, it's very dynamic. Now it's not. Right. Now, one more thing I didn't tell you, when you move this frequency right here at the bottom, it's going to show you where you're adding this fundamental, what this frequency means. So 46.2, you're standing on F sharp. And if you keep moving, it's going to tell you on which key you are. So that's it. That's the whole plugin. It's a pretty simple one, but remember that you need to understand that it's not just for drums. You can use it on basses. You can use it on maybe in a snare. Maybe you want to bring the room of a snare, make it more just, harsh. Just crunch it, just go up in the crunch and bring that snare up. So you can use it on just a snare. It's not just for drum busses. Alright, so that's it. If you learned something on this one and you liked it, remember to like and subscribe. And if you have the money and you want to buy me a coffee, you can go to the links in the description. You have links for PayPal, you have the YouTube thanks, and you have Patreon. Maybe you can be a 1-month patron and buy me a coffee that way. Alright, so see you on the next one.